choosing what truly matters, that is, aligning your life with your core values. Living abroad is an adventure. It's exciting, full of new opportunities, and often deeply transformative. But it can also be confusing, exhausting, and at times lonely. You're constantly navigating cultural differences, new social norms, and professional expectations that don't always align with what you value. In the midst of all this change, a question quietly emerges. What are you willing to endure for the life you truly want? The idea might sound strange at first. Endure? Suffer? Who wants that? But not all discomfort is bad. In fact, some forms of discomfort are precisely what make a life meaningful. While his style is not quite my favorite one, in his book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F word, Mark Manson talks about choosing what to care about, what to suffer for. It's about consciously deciding which challenges, sacrifices, and efforts are worth taking on because they lead you closer to a life that reflects who you truly are. For internationals, this question is particularly pressing. Every choice, whether to relocate, pursue a demanding role abroad, or just maintain ties with your home culture, comes with costs. But these costs aren't meaningless. They become worth it when aligned with your core values. So why does suffering or effort matters? Let's be honest. No life is completely comfortable, and life abroad magnifies that truth. There will always be moments of friction, adapting to a new language, building a network from scratch, or simply figuring out how things work in a foreign system. But discomfort isn't inherently negative. On the contrary, it becomes meaningful when it's tied to something that truly matters. So think of learning a new language, the endless grammar drills, the miscommunications, the awkward mistakes. They can feel tedious, even discouraging. Yet, if your value is connection or your goal is to thrive socially and professionally abroad, this effort becomes a pathway to something important. Real friendships, deeper understanding, and a sense of belonging. Similarly, pushing yourself in a challenging role or a project may be stressful, but if it aligns with your values, maybe it's growth, mastery, impact, then it transforms from a burden into a conscious choice that supports a larger purpose. Choosing what to suffer for is not about romanticizing struggle. It's about distinguishing between meaningless pain and meaningful effort, the kind that moves you closer to the life you actually want. So core values are like a compass. They help you navigate decisions, priorities, and inevitable trade-offs, especially in unfamiliar environments. Even when you know what matters most, you can make choices more confidently, even in situations full of ambiguity. For international professionals, values often intersect across different domains. For example, whether they are career-focused values like ambition, mastery, impact, or some lifestyle values like adventure or independence and connection, or even just personal or ethical values such as honesty, curiosity, contribution. Imagine two expatriates facing a similar challenge. One is asked to relocate to a less desirable city for a career promotion, and the other to take on a demanding project overseas. But one prioritizes stability and family connection, while the other values professional growth and adventure. Now, both face discomfort, but their choices and the effort they're willing to endure for it differ because of their core values. So your values clarify not just what to pursue, but also what to say no to. This clarity is vital when juggling cultural expectations, career demands, and social pressures abroad. It transforms the should I into do I want to? It is a subtle shift, but it makes decision making more intentional and less reactive. So, how do you identify what you're willing to endure? Well, knowing your values is one thing, living by them is another. To connect values with effort, try reflecting on the following questions. One, what challenges would I gladly take on for long term fulfillment? Think beyond immediate comfort. For example, would you spend evenings networking to build a career that excites you, even if it feels draining? Or two, what would I refuse to compromise, even if an easier option exists? Maybe it's integrity in your work or staying connected with loved ones despite geographical distance. Here's a simple practical exercise for you. So list your top 3 to 5 core values. Then next to each one, write the sacrifices, discomforts, or efforts you'd accept to honor them. And be concrete. For instance, if your value is connection, will you be willing to say, I will schedule weekly calls with family, even on busy days? If it's growth, could it be, I will volunteer for challenging projects that stretch me? Or maybe if your focus is on adventure, hey, I will explore new cities and culture, even if it means being uncomfortable. By doing this, you turn abstract ideas into actionable commitments. You start consciously choosing what discomforts you're willing to bear and why it's worth it. So this is about making choices consciously. Living abroad often tempts us to follow other people's definition of success or avoid discomfort whenever possible. You might chase superficial markers, a high salary, a fancy title, or approval from colleagues. But without values as your guide, these choices can feel hollow, no matter how impressive they seem from the outside. So aligning decisions with your core values provides at least two crucial advantages. One, clarity in uncertainty. When you know what matters, even confusing or stressful situations have a framework. You can make choices confidently instead of reacting just impulsively. And second, it gives you resilience in difficulty. Life abroad isn't predictable. So challenges will come, I'll guarantee you that. But when your efforts are meaningful, you are more motivated, patient, and persistent. So here are some practical steps that can make a big difference. One, review decisions regularly. Ask yourself at least every month, in some cases for some decisions, maybe even on a weekly basis, does this align with my values? Second, seek supportive communities. Find mentors, find friends, groups abroad who share your values or encourage them. And three, say no strategically. Not every opportunity deserves your effort. So saying no protects your energy for what truly matters. Consciously choosing what to endure and what not to is an empowering act. It transforms discomfort from a threat into a tool for growth and fulfillment. So here's a personal note on values and effort. One of my strongest values is efficiency. I've carried with me for as long as I can remember. I feel a physical discomfort when I see a tap running without purpose, or a reusable paperback being thrown away too soon, even when an envelope goes to waste when it could easily serve as scrap paper. Even leaving food untouched in a restaurant feels wrong to me. I always think, where's the doggy bag? So for me, efficiency isn't about perfectionism or optimization for the sake of it. But yes, I am a perfectionist in recovery. It's about honoring resources, extending the life cycle of things, and avoiding unnecessary waste. It genuinely matters to me. It reflects how I want to move through the world, and it shapes small choices every day. I'm not perfect, but I try to do it. And yet, this value can also get me into trouble, especially in multicultural settings where people have different relationships with time, resources, or what makes sense. What feels natural to me may look unusual or even obsessive to someone else. Living abroad has taught me that values don't operate in a vacuum. They interact with culture, expectations, and context. I've also learned that a value, when pushed too far, can stop serving you. A few years ago, I realized that my love for efficiency had quietly turned into maximization. I began experimenting with reducing the number of times I had to stand up during a meal, to save time, of course. I found it fun at first. It was a personal challenge, if you want. But then over time, it dawned on me that I had optimized myself right out of something else important, a sense of presence and just simple physical exercise. So eating more slowly, moving around, pausing. These things were not inefficiencies. They were part of taking care of myself. So I had been minimizing the wrong variable. The experience reminded me that even when a value is meaningful, we still need to choose consciously what effort actually leads to a better life, what discomfort is worth it, and what is simply just unnecessary strain. So choosing what to suffer for doesn't mean defending a value at all costs. It means honoring it in a way that supports your well-being and your wider goals, not undermines them. So how can you move forward with clarity? Well, living abroad would always challenge you. It will stretch you in ways that are exciting and at times uncomfortable. The question isn't whether challenges exist. It's which ones you choose to take on. So by understanding your core values and connecting them to the efforts you're willing to make, you gain a compass for life and work abroad. You start saying yes to what matters and no to what doesn't. You turn inevitable discomfort into meaningful action. So I invite you to reflect today. What are you willing to endure for the life you truly want? The answer might just guide your next step, your next career move, or your next meaningful connection abroad. For a deeper dive into discovering your core values, you can check out the previous article I wrote a while ago. And also feel free to get in touch to see how I could support you better in exploring them further. Have a really happy day.